Cece's.
Oh.
Hi, I'm Brandon. I love theatrical Christmas movies.
I'm Dan, and I also love theatrical Christmas movies.
I'm Alonso, and for once I actually get to say this is the Deck the Hallmark podcast.
My God.
The Hallmark, it's his podcast. Brandon and friends host his podcast. We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Oh, hi there, everybody.
Boy, oh boy.
It's Bran. It's Dan.
That's right.
It's Alonso in
Bramble
person.
Fest was a time.
It was a time.
Wow.
Let's talk about it.
Dude, that was yesterday. We're exhausted. It's 6 a.m. It's the Monday after Bramble Fest. We are exhausted.
Some of you might be
never
wondering. We watched on Philo on Friday, and you guys were all in the studio together. Did you record on the same day?
Because Alonso's wearing the same shirt.
Couldn't be so. We are in different seats.
We're in different
Yes,
seats.
and it's a little clammy by now, believe me.
But Bramble Fest happened.
Yeah.
Yes.
We know that.
It was
We
great.
all know that.
It's part of the history books now.
Yeah, what was your favorite part, Alonso?
Oh man, I mean the I have never seen horse dressage done quite so poetically before.
Yeah,
I gotta
that
go
is
with
our
that.
thing.
That's true.
That
I didn't
is
see
our
it coming
thing.
this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really get your money's worth on that virtual ticket.
You
I'll say
do.
that.
You do, for sure.
You sure do. You
Yeah.
sure do.
Yeah.
It's great to be here, though, together in person, talking about Violent Night.
That's
Talking
right.
about, talking about a theatrical smash hit because it's violent.
And you've got a gig in Nashville. You're
I do,
going to be
yes.
on our side of the world for a while.
This week, Wednesday the 24th, if you're in Nashville, please come see me at the Belcourt Theater, beautiful historic theater that I used to go to all the time when I went to college. We're screening The Last of Sheila, which is a super fun whodunit with an all-star cast, and I'll be signing books afterwards, courtesy of Novelette Books. So, yeah, come on by.
How about that?
I love it.
Man, you're a globetrotter.
I try.
You're a globetrotter. That's very
And if
exciting.
you've not seen The Last of Sheila, may as well see it on the big screen.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
come on.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
When's the sequel? Is this the last?
I know it was good, dude. It's
I
called
thought it
Knives
was-
Out.
It'll
It's
be a
pretty good.
prequel. The
It'll
next
be a
to Last
prequel.
of Sheila.
That's why we found one.
One of Sheila's earlier ones.
Yes. Also, shout out to Sheila.
Shout out.
She's great. You guys want to talk about Violent Night?
I would love
Yeah.
to.
Violent Night, which somehow did not make any of our top 10 movies in Friday's disc list, originally premiered in theaters on December 2nd, 2022, and it went a little something like this. The movie kicks off with a very disgruntled Santa. He's at a bar. He is very bothered by the consumeristic nature that is Christmas now, and it's taken the holly and the jolly out of Christmas. He is plastered, but it's Christmas Eve. Can't stay long. The bartender and a fellow Santa, they're talking to him, and they are shocked to discover that he is the real Santa, who throws up all over the sweet bartender as he flies away. Cut to Jason Lightstone. He is being picked up by his estranged wife, Linda, and their daughter, Trudy. Despite being separated, they're going to spend Christmas at Jason's family. Their giant mansion is plenty big enough to hold all of them. The house is jam-packed full of workers preparing for not a Christmas party where people come, just their family gathering, because that's how much money they have. The other family members are Jason's sister, Alva, her actor boyfriend, Morgan Steele, and their son, Bertrude. They're the worst. Santa shows up, and just as he does, on Christmas Eve, and as he's doing some present stuff, he hears gunshot. Turns out baddies have invaded the estate, led by a guy who goes by Mr. Scrooge. Before Santa can get away, the reindeer fly off because they're scared of the gunshots. And to stay alive, Santa has to fight off one of the bad guys via some Christmas lights, throwing them out of the window. It's fine. Totally cool. Santa goes to walk off, and he sees a little girl in the window, very scared, and knows that he has to save her. So after fighting off another baddie, he gets a walkie-talkie and ends up changing the frequencies to try to reach somebody, and in doing so, begins to hear the voice of Trudy, Earlier in the movie, Trudy's dad gave her a walkie-talkie and said, hey, you can talk to Santa with this walkie-talkie, because he forgot to take her to the mall to see Santa Claus. Wouldn't you know it, Santa's talking back now, so that's nice work. And they start talking about what's going on. So Scrooge is there because he wants $300 million in cash that are hidden in the vault inside of the mansion, and he has it all figured out. He knows everything. The only snag in this plan is Santa Claus. They capture Santa. They wrap him in Christmas lights. They try to start questioning him, but they are too blown away by his bag that seems to keep producing presents. Scrooge throws the magic bag in the fire, which really makes Santa mad. And thanks to Trudy producing some fake snow from above, he is able to escape through the fireplace. He has this trick where he touches his nose and he kind of turns into... laying a finger aside of his nose. If you will. Goes up a fireplace. Basically, he turns into dust and goes up there, and then he's fine. So he's able to get away that way. When Scrooge finally gets the vault open, thanks to the family's extraction team turning on them, he is shocked to find out that all of the money is gone. Turns out it was Jason. Jason stole the money and was going to tell his mom via a letter to kick rocks. I've got the money and I'm out of here. That didn't quite happen though. While all of this is happening, Santa's just destroying dudes in the barn. It is quite the montage. Trudy is also getting in on the action by Home Aloneing some baddies up in the attic. Scrooge is demanding Jason show him where the money is, so they go outside to this barn area. And as they get close, Linda shoots at Scrooge with a gun from one of the baddies that they managed to kill. Santa and Trudy also show up. They are now all trying to get rid of all of these bad guys. This leads to a chase on some snowmobiles into the woods. Santa finally catches up with Mr. Scrooge. They fight. It is an intense fight. But at the very end, when Santa looks like his day has come to an end, his life even, if you will, he touches his nose. They both go up this old chimney that's out in the woods, which kills Scrooge because he doesn't turn into dust. He just is a person.
Yeah, into just a torso.
That's right.
Turns into meat.
That's right.
But then this other bad dude that was leading the extraction team, he shoots Santa multiple times because he wants the money, but then he is killed by Gertrude. Santa's gunshot wounds are too much for him to overcome. He dies until Trudy convinces the family to just believe that he is indeed Santa Claus, and that belief does bring him back to life. Wake me up! The reindeer show up again with the sleigh, and Santa says goodbye to everybody as he heads back out to finish his Christmas Eve route. And that, my friends, was Violent Night.
We did it.
We did do it. Let's take a quick break. We will come back and we'll break this movie down here on
Deck the Hallmark.
Great, Alonso.
That was really good. That popped.
Hello. Welcome back. We're talking about Violent Nights, the 2022 theatrical release. We're going to start with a hot take, and I'm going to start with you, Alonso. Alonso, I've seen this movie before, I imagine. You reviewed it back in
I'd
2022.
never seen it. True story.
Wow.
We'll get to it.
Yeah.
Alonso, what'd you think of it first time around? What'd you think of it this time?
Well, I'll tell you, the first time I saw it was like the ideal situation. I was at this festival they do in Los Angeles called Beyond Fest, which is like genre films and, horror and stuff. And so it was a packed audience. People were really psyched to see it, and it just played like gangbusters. It's one of those movies that you see it with a crowd, it just goes so
I can
well.
imagine.
And so I was a little nervous watching it again, just, like on Peacock. And I have to say, I liked it as much, if not more, this time because I really appreciate the degree of difficulty that this movie is tackling, because one of the most chafing things for me when I'm watching movies is when they are referencing movies I would rather be watching. It is so hard to talk about other movies and have you not want to be like, oh, why don't we just watch that other movie instead? So this movie is explicitly talking about Die Hard, explicitly talking about Home Alone, and yet finding its own way into those scenarios and doing something fun and fresh with them. I also didn't even really appreciate it till this time. It's also borrowing heavily from another Christmas movie I love, a 70s action kind of heist movie called The Silent Partner. I don't know if you know that.
No, I heard that one.
Elliot Gould, Christopher Plummer.
Ooh.
Christopher Plummer plays this very bad baddie who, in a Santa costume, plans to rob a bank. Elliot Gould figures out that he's gonna be robbing the bank, so he basically takes all the money before Christopher Plummer can. So Christopher Plummer gets not the money that he wanted, and Elliot and shoulders the blame for the robbery, but then he figures out that Elliot Gould did it, and so it's this whole cat and mouse thing. It's really great. So yeah, I think this movie's terrific. I love it. It is a hard R movie that lives up to its
Not for the
title.
kiddos, that's
It's
right,
violent, but I think it's great.
Love it.
I saw this movie in theaters and I absolutely adored it. And it should come as no surprise because I love David Harbour. And I think he was the perfect cast for Santa Claus, a disgruntled Santa Claus with a violent past. A much better casting than, say, Mel Gibson and Fat Man, where in the 2020s we went crazy with violent Santas. This movie, unlike Fat Man, crushes. I love this movie. It is so funny. If you are into creative kills, this movie has quite a few creative kills. And so just a really, really good time. If you don't enjoy violence, I don't think that you will enjoy this movie. But if you're okay with it and it doesn't bother you if Santa says the F word a few times, this movie is fantastic. I think you will very much enjoy it. As did I then, and as did I now. Dano?
Yeah, I'd never seen this movie, and I quite enjoyed myself. I think the needle this movie threads tonally is so impressive. Not only does it reference the movies like outright, like Home Alone and Die Hard pretty much, but it also does this thing where it's super violent and the gore is the entertainment, but it never, ever just fully leaves itself for that. It lives in this world where Christmas spirit is still real. Santa is still real. I didn't know Santa was real. Like in this movie, wait for it.
Lee, just take that.
Yeah.
Dan saying, I didn't know that Santa was real.
It's a
We
tough
finally
heartbreak.
got Dan. We got him.
I got to be honest. It was tough. I was watching the monitor, and then Aaron started doing something else in the monitor.
Oh,
and
don't blame her.
It's fine. No, but yeah, I thought something had happened. I didn't know, but before watching this movie, I didn't know in the movie that the Santa in this movie was supposed to be real. I thought he was like a Santa that was down on his luck and gets stuck in this situation somehow because he was hired for a gig. That's what I knew about the movie. So that element of this movie, typically I would tell you, would not work in a movie where you're here for icicles impaling people and whatnot. But it does. It does. The kid stuff works. John Leguizamo is John Leguizamo in this movie as a villain, and he's great. Edie Patterson, I'll talk about her in the fields. She's a national treasure. David Harbour's great. A ton of fun. Maybe a hair too long. Maybe one subplot or kill too many. I'm nitpicking here. This is a fun time. Grab your popcorn if you love this kind of stuff. I think it's a lot of fun. I quite enjoyed myself.
I will say if there's one thing that didn't necessarily work for me is the like Santa backstory that they're trying to make. I don't know if it worked for you, but
where he was basically a Viking at one
yeah,
point.
I'm okay with that just because I think there's the legend of Saint Nicholas has him at least some level of a brawler.
Sure.
So I think there's I think no matter how you trace that historical personage, you're always going to get to something that is kind of warrior like and violent.
Yeah, I just for me, it felt like they included it because they didn't want people to be like, how does Santa know how to do all this stuff?
Right.
But I wouldn't have asked that question.
But
I would
also,
have just been like, oh yeah,
they don't make Santa like completely invincible.
Yeah,
like
he's not invulnerable.
He's just a big bruiser, but he doesn't have all the answers. Like he's almost dead a bunch in this movie.
Yeah.
They don't make him to where he's like Santa shows up and just kicks tail and walks out. They don't really do that. Like they put him in some precarious situations. I think that was part of the fun of it.
And he operates with Christmas magic that he doesn't even quite know how it works.
That's right.
Yeah, which I appreciated. Talking about the bag, and he's like, I don't know.
I don't know
how it works.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. It's been doing it for
like
years.
that.
Don't know.
Let's get to all the feels. We're talking about what in this movie gave us those feels. Alonso?
I think some really nicely selected needle drops here. I think it's very easy for Christmas movies to kind of fall back on, like I love Andy Williams' The Most Wonderful Time of the Year, but we really, music supervisors got to give that a rest. So like you get like a scat Nutcracker, you get Donde Está Santa Claus, you get some fun choices along the way. So good job there. David Harbour, perfect. Like his over it Santa and then like segueing into like badass warrior Santa, like couldn't be better. The whole cast is great. Edie Patterson, Beverly D'Angelo, who is cast as a shout out to, again, another previous Christmas movie, but like so hard bitten and like, just you do not cross this woman. A delight to watch. The kid is good. Even Cam Gigandit, who I've never he plays the action movie guy.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
He from the Twilight.
Sorry, everyone.
Not an actor that has particularly ever blown me away, but in this movie, Cam Gigande. Pajamas. Degrassi. I feel like he's in on the joke for once, and he does so quite well. So I like that a lot. And Johnny Legs, you gotta love anybody who can deliver the line "Christmas dies tonight" with utter sincerity.
He's so good.
I think both of the David Harbour and John Leguizamo, neither one give up the bit. They don't ever rescind.
There's never a wink.
When Billy Bob Thornton's playing bad Santa, like the whole movie, it's just, hey, you in the crowd, you know that I'm being mean to children, and that's what's funny.
Yeah.
This movie never does it. David Harbour never winks at the camera and is like, hey, I'm Santa. Can you believe it? And John Leguizamo doesn't either. He's as menacing and crazy as he needs to be. He's great. Yeah.
You mentioned about the music choices. I loved the montage of kills set to something about Christmas time. It was great and a highlight of the movie for sure. Because you might be wondering, how many ways can Santa kill somebody with a sledgehammer? The answer is a whole lot. More than you think. So, and I thought that the music choice was not a traditional pick for what's going on in that montage, and
contrapuntal.
I really liked it.
We all would. I think
and that was right on the edge. Yeah,
he had a mouthful of like grape nuts, but he was like contrapuntal.
I said contra Rapunzel. Contra is Rapunzel. That's what I said.
You're an actual musician. I thought you'd know that one.
Contrapunzel.
Okay. Yes.
Dano?
This is weird. I kind of had Righteous Gemstone feels watching this movie.
Yeah.
That show's on HBO. It's not for everyone. It's probably a harder R than this movie.
For language.
But if you're like me and you adore that movie, that television show with all your heart, Edie Patterson, that show is a riot. Everything she says is super vulgar and a stitch. In this movie, the family's the Lightstones instead.
Oh, right, yeah.
She in Righteous Gemstones is Judy Gemstone. She's basically Trudy Lightstone in this movie. Like, I don't know if they did that on purpose, but it reminded me of how much I adore that television program. And Edie Patterson, guys, she's great.
Yeah.
She's just so funny, and everything she says is funny. And so I loved that. I loved that stuff a whole lot. And that was my feels.
Let's take a quick break. We will come back and we'll get to the wait what's of Santa killing people.
Yeah, real tough.
And with the Hallmark here on Deck the Hallmark.
Not as good, but still decent.
The 2 fizzy waters in and bubbling up.
Welcome back, everybody. We're talking about Violent Night today. Happy Monday to you. Kicking off the week with a little violence. Why not? Let's get to the Wait What's, where we talk about what in the movie. Just go, wait, what? Alonso?
I got nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Yeah.
This movie is, you have to
Slim pickings,
you have to account for Christmas magic. You have to account for all the scenario as it's set up. But within that framework, I think they have crossed their eyes and
mine are
their teeth,
very sparing. I have 2 that I think are legitimate, but they're sparing. I think that easy to miss or easy to not care about, but I have 2. That's all I have. So
I also have 2, and they're not great.
All right,
but I'll go.
Let's hear you. Go ahead. Throw it out there. See what happens.
And this is something that happens on a regular basis in movies and TV when they're dealing with walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
But Santa and Trudy are having a conversation, and he's telling her his story, and she's like talking back, and he's reacting as if he can hear her, which means that he is knowing the exact right time to go off the walkie-talkie button.
Christmas magic.
It is walkie-talkie Christmas magic song live.
They were so good.
And then this was just mainly played for laughs, but I wanted to mention it when he is telling Trudy how long he and Mrs. Claus have been married. He says, we've been married for 1,100 years. And Trudy starts going, counting on her fingers as if she's going to count up to 1,100. What's 1,100? I thought that was funny, but also, what you doing there, Trudy?
How long is this going to go?
Dano?
I got two. The Naughty Nice list in this movie is really cool. It's a scroll that opens up. It's digital. And it has the name of the person I guess he's thinking of in his head. And then it tells you naughty or nice and gives you a list of, a laundry list of things that makes them nice or naughty. Well, when he opens up the list for Trudy, it's a bunch of nice. She's nice. It's a bunch of nice things. One of the things that makes her nice is always kept her room clean. And first of all, how dare you? How dare you? Why is it that keeping a room clean makes you nice? That would intimate that your room, just growing up, it was hard for me to keep my room clean. You mean to tell me because I couldn't keep my room clean, I'm naughty? Get out of here.
Are you telling me that your parents never used the idea of you not keeping your room clean as a thing that would look bad?
My parents understood it was no, ever. My parents didn't do Santa, first of all. And I think you know that.
Okay.
But second of all, keeping your room clean was more
we didn't
of a
do Santa.
Crumbles de Ponte. What was that?
Rapunzel your hair.
Crumbles de Ponte. Yes.
Crumbles de Ponte.
Nice to meet you. I just know
that on the line. What?
Occasionally my parents would be like, "Hey, you need to straighten up your room because it's just a good thing to do and be responsible." But this was. The idea of equating keeping your room clean to morality was like, when I saw it on the screen, I was like, absolutely not.
Now, the only thing...
no.
So you want to be ethically filthy is what you're saying.
I want to be... I want to be... Yeah, sure.
Right.
Sure. Yeah, let's just stick with
now,
that.
would you say that not cleaning your room if your parents ask you to?
That would be disobedient to parents.
Yeah.
Right, well,
You're not naughty because your room is dirty. You're naughty because you didn't obey your parents.
I'm just trying to help.
Okay.
That was a clear way what to me. Not as big as this next one. When John Leguizamo and his two henchmen finally capture Santa. Santa goes around the room and does a "I'm Santa bees" bit where he's like, "Hey, you're this is your name.
Yeah.
This is where you're from. This is the toy you wanted that I brought you at Christmas." He does that for all three of them, and Leguizamo's response is lucky guess. Leguizamo goes, "Those are lucky guesses. Guys, I get it. A Huffy bicycle may be a lucky guess, but the guy's name is like Dieter from Finland. Like, that's not a lucky guess." Like, if Santa just throws out without hearing, "You're Bjorn from Finland with the Huffy bike." No, something is up. You can't possibly think it's lucky after all three of those.
Well,
right?
It's like in Nightmare Alley where you always open with the, you had a dog when you were a kid.
Yeah.
And look,
one is fine.
Yeah,
three,
that speaks more to who Scrooge is.
okay,
I think,
three names and correct kid toys. That's a tough.
He knew that the girl was naughty because she made her brother eat worms.
Yeah,
like that's pretty specific.
Leguizamo be like, anybody could have figured that one out. No, they couldn't have. Only Santa Claus or Crumbles de Pont.
Crumbles de Pont's crazy, bro.
Yeah,
don't.
They are crazy.
Crumbles de Pont likes a question of chives.
Yes, 100%. It's time for What the Hallmark is, where we wonder what could have been. Maybe have some clarity to any questions that we still have. Alonso, what are you still wondering about? Apparently, there is going to be a
violent night too.
Yeah, that was kind of my question. I didn't know.
Yeah, no, it is set in. I mean, it's supposed to be happening. So yeah, I just want to find out whose ass Santa will kick next and why.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fair.
We get backstory on Santa Claus in this movie. I'm interested in it. It is clear at the beginning of this movie that
Nicodem and his warhammer,
that he is pretty fed up with this.
Yeah.
Until Trudy. She's back on board.
Trudy, and then he gets back on. But does it come back? Is there? And what could he do? Like, what are Santa in this universe? What are Santa's options for calling it quits? Because it seems like he doesn't really have a choice. He's just, and now he has to.
I mean, he could fall off a roof.
So,
I guess.
Yeah.
Mine is, I'm going to be more specific, piggybacking back on that. So he has a bag, sack that does everything for him,
bag.
right? It just makes the toys. He pulls it out. It's already done. So maybe a lot of this is that he just is over the Christmas thing, but he doesn't have a lot of fulfillment the rest of the year. It seems like Santa would be natural as a vigilante. Like he already knows everyone, sees them when they're sleeping, knows when they're awake.
The intel is
What is stopping
strong.
us from having a April Violent Night where he's like, somebody's taken over this house. It's Flag Day. It's Flag Day. It's Flag Day. I'm on it. Fire up the sleigh. Let's get Rudolph, Blitz, and Comet and the gang a little tread when it's not Christmas. Let's go on down and let's just, why not? I got time on my hands.
You think Santa has free time in the non-Christmas months to just drop everything and go on a case?
Well, he's not making it. What's he doing? What's he doing?
What's he
doing? Tell me out. No. You don't look. Tell me what he's doing. He's not making the toys. Toys in the bag they pre-made.
He's
He
running.
is
He's
supervising.
What? Who is he supervising?
the elves.
What are they doing?
Making
Making
toys.
toys.
Toys are made.
No,
the bag is magic.
no,
He reaches
no.
in. They're all wrapped the same.
The gifts are teleporting from the North
This is
Pole.
where the Santa
bag
myth-
doesn't make them.
They're teleporting from the. Get out of here! No, those toys are being made as he's pulling the bag. This is why.
Dan, if you ever
the Santa
once in
myth
your
breaks
life-
down
You got to
right here.
run weather scenarios.
Dan,
Like,
if you
it's a
ever
whole-
once in your life ran or co-ran a business, you would know that just because maybe it doesn't look like you're busy, you got a lot going on.
I'm not saying he does it every day of
Lot
the
of
week. What I'm
decisions.
saying is if he can see everyone when they're sleeping and know when they're awake, if something bad is happening and Batman's not available, what's stopping him
Okay,
from one
but you know
night
what? But-
flying in and stopping the Flag Day massacre?
Because
or whatever?
Lucius Fox is telling him not to use that information for bad, for
you
one thing.
think he's got that kind of responsibility?
Yeah. Second of
Wow.
all, I would say read a book.
Wow. How dare you? How dare you?
Yeah.
In this universe, he could do it.
We did it, everybody. Congratulations. Next week, we're talking about White Reindeer.
Yes.
2013. I know nothing about it aside from I have seen the cover of the movie.
I'm just going to say, I'll put that out there. Also, not for kids.
For kids.
Hey,
Our review will be fine, but the movie,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, of course.
So stay tuned for that, and then we'll be back. Obviously, the rest of the week. A lot of fun stuff this week. We
Fun
got planned.
stuff.
Couple
Yeah.
of last week of Christmas in July. Everybody.
Oh, man.
Oh,
But that
it's
doesn't mean
over
we're going to
already.
stop
Oh,
doing Christmas
no.
movies.
no,
Alonso,
no.
you're back every Monday. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Until then, may the first to wish you a
Merry Christmas!
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam
Awesome. We
podcast
finished
is
strong
produced
there.
by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.